Hello, this is Sergio, and today I'm doing an AdWords account analysis for the AdWords account ending in 8802. This is for Brickell Cosmetic Center. I'm going to go ahead and dive into the account, looking for some of the best practices to be put into place here. If they're not, I'll point them out, and also give some recommendations on what you could be doing a little bit differently. Inside of one of the accounts, or one of the campaigns that was active in the last year, it looks like this campaign was one of the top spenders, and I was just checking out the keywords because one of the most common mistakes that advertisers make with AdWords is basically using the match types incorrectly. If you're not familiar with match types, basically it's the way keywords are used by advertisers. You have one keyword here with quotations around it, and that's known as a phrase match keyword. Basically, Google will show your ad if someone uses Brickell space cosmetic, but anything can be used before or after Brickell cosmetic. So for example, free Brickell Cosmetic Center could trigger your ad. Brickell Cosmetic Center jobs could trigger your ad. Essentially, you're adding the quotations to tell Google you want the word Brickell followed by a space followed by cosmetic to be included in the search term, but anything else before or after can be used to show my ad. Could be good, it could be bad. We're going to look at your search terms and find out. These are just keywords. The search terms people actually use are located in the search terms tab. Now, when you don't put quotations around your keywords, this is where Google makes a couple of $1 billion a year off of the mistakes advertisers make by using these keywords without the quotations or the brackets, which is another match type that I'll get into next. But when you don't have quotations or brackets around your keyword, like many of the keywords in your account, decide whether or not someone should see your ad when they use a keyword like cellulite treatment or anything related to cellulite treatment. And that can get a little scary because for stuff that you don't want to show up for. I'm not saying that's the case here, but if we look at the search terms report, right now we're on keywords. We can go to search terms. We'll find out. Negative keywords. Depending on which match types you use with the quotations or the brackets, type called exact match. So for example, if we put brackets around Brickell Cosmetic, that just tells Google I only want to show up when someone uses Brickell Cosmetic, nothing before, nothing after, no misspellings, no plural or singular variations, exact match, hence the name. You're not using any exact match, which off to me, but there might be a reason for it. I'll know when I get deeper into the account. Search terms. We're going to start to see all the search terms that were actually used by Google users to find your ads and to click on them. Now, they don't look too bad, but if we start to scroll down, we see some misspellings or maybe names of other places that are not, I don't know what, Vibraderm is actually, I believe, a service, a type of treatment that you guys offer, but there are some keywords as we start to scroll down that you might notice as irrelevant. Asking yourself, why did I spend money on this stuff? A lot of these look like other spas in the area, spending a couple of dollars per click, $3 to $5 on average, and it adds up. So when you start to use match types that aren't exact match or with the quotations known as phrase match, you start to get a lot of irrelevant search terms that eat up your budget, and they're just wasted clicks. Hot tubs Miami, for example, that is obviously an irrelevant one. So if you don't want to show up for things like hot tubs Miami and types of keywords that may or may not be useful for you, you're going to have to start using your match types a little bit better. Changing everything that doesn't have parentheses around it, or I'm sorry, quotations around them or brackets is a good start. That means changing your keywords from broad match, exact match. Broad match is a bad way to do things unless you have a very, very specific strategy which you can use to crowdsource keyword ideas that you're not familiar with. In this case, I wouldn't recommend using broad match keywords. So that's the first thing. Now, if you are going to use keywords that aren't exact, like broad or phrase match, you need to have negative keywords. Block your ads from showing. So if we put a negative keyword like the word free or jobs or employment opportunities. Anytime someone types in Brickell Cosmetic jobs or Brickell Cosmetic employment opportunities, your ads won't show. Or if someone uses the word free, like Free Facials Miami, your ads won't show if free is a negative keyword in your negative keyword list. An empty negative keyword list. So if you're using keywords that aren't exact match or that don't have quotations around them, that's why you're getting clicks and paying for clicks that are irrelevant. Another thing that I want to look at is tracking. Basically, you're spending money on your AdWords account, and if it's turning a good investment or a profit if you're selling products, which in this case you're not, but you're generating calls, you're generating form submissions. Now, phone calls come from two different sources. You can either get a phone call when someone sees your ad and they see the phone number, they're allowed to click to call. It's part of your ad. And essentially, if they see your ad with a phone number on it with their mobile phone, they can click on that phone number and it starts ringing to you. That's being tracked as a call from your ad. That's why you have here calls from ads. What you don't have is called website calls. When someone clicks your ad and then goes to your website and they see the number on the top of the page or on the Contact Us page to call your office, that's not being tracked. You're only tracking calls from the Google result ads. So many people go to the website, they look at the gallery, they look at the About Us page, they look at the location, and then they call the number listed on the Contact Us page. If you're not tracking those phone calls, then you don't know how many calls you're really getting. You only know how many calls from the ads, and that's probably less than half of the actual calls you're getting. You're tracking form submissions, which is great. You probably have a form on your Contact Us page. And it looks like here you have a shopping cart. It really wasn't being triggered very often. But if you are selling products on the website, you definitely want to have transactions being tracked. Like I mentioned, the calls from the website and the form submissions, which you have, is to implement a chat feature on your website. People that are at work, shopping around, that cannot pick up the phone and start talking, love to rely on an instant chat service. So if your website has chat, you might want to consider as a conversion as well. Those things are the most obvious things I like to look at. When it comes to your campaign settings, there might be a couple of things that you're doing, like allowing Google to show your ad on search partner websites that aren't google.com, but small search engines that they've acquired over time. There are tons of other websites where your ads might be showing up and it's just not really going to be performing as well as Google, because most people don't use these smaller search engines. People like to use Google. So I would always opt out of search partner search engine websites. I would also probably do something like create a Spanish campaign with actual Spanish keywords in them, because Spanish keywords are usually a fraction of the cost of the English keywords. You're using a manual bid strategy, which of keywords, it's almost impossible to constantly be on top of the bid required to be the number 1, 2, or 3 result. So there are a lot of automated solutions which I would encourage you to look at, or you would look at a target search page location type of bid strategy that allows you to automatically be at the number 1, 2, or 3 spot by automatically to be there. Google tells you how much it takes to be number 1 for each keyword, and you can either manually or use an automated bidding strategy to stay on top for the keywords that you know are performing very well. So there's a lot of things here that I would change, specifically the things that I've covered, but I'm just scratching the surface. If we start to look at things like the location targeting, the bid adjustments for mobile devices versus tablets and computers, it looks like adjustments being made, but I didn't see anything on the locations or the ad schedules being optimized to show up at times of the day that are performing better historically and things like that. So a bunch of things that I would do differently and that could ultimately make the account perform better. Hopefully this sheds light on a few of those things, and we will hopefully get a chance to show you what we're made of by taking over the account and implementing some of these best practices and more. I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to email us if you have any questions. Have a great day.